Hi, I'm Piper, and this is my story. I was blessed to be adopted into a Christian home when I was 2 years old. So I've always known about Jesus. I grew up going to church, going to camp, and praying. I always called myself a Christian, but when I was younger, I didn't fully understand why we worshiped Jesus. I understood the stories, but part of me wondered, do I actually have to do this? For a long time, I didn't think I really had a story to share, because all I could say was that I grew up in a loving Christian environment. Looking back now, I think part of me was secretly rejecting Jesus, because I felt like it was something I was being forced into instead of something personal. But over the years, I started to understand why we worship God, and He slowly showed me who He really was. In grades 7 and 9, my relationship with Jesus started growing deeper, but in the middle of grade 7, things began to fall apart. Even though I was trying to give my everything to God, I felt like I had lost Him. I started making bad choices and stopped really living for Him. Around 3 years ago, I also began struggling deeply with my mental health. I'd always struggled with anger, but a year later, things got even worse. That's when I started to self-harm. It became one of the lowest points in my life. Some days, I couldn't even go one day without doing it. I was struggling with depression and felt completely lost. That's when one of my amazing friends, Yada, stepped into my life in a huge way. One night at Collide, some grade 8 students were sharing parts of their stories, and Yada shared hers. I was so proud of her, and her courage really impacted me. Later that night, I texted her to tell her how proud I was, and for the first time, I opened up about my own struggles with self-harm. After that, I also told my leaders and my parents. Till this day, I'm so grateful for Yada because if she hadn't shared her story that night, I honestly don't know if I would still be here today. Even after opening up, things didn't magically get better. My depression got worse and I still don't know how to help myself. Then camp came, and for a while I felt close to Jesus again. I felt like I had found purpose, but after camp, I hit another wall and things went downhill fast. My depression became heavier, my self-harm continued, and I truly didn't see a purpose in living anymore. I felt like I wasn't enough for this world and that I had ruined everything. There were nights I begged God to take my life because the pain felt unbearable. My parents helped me get professional help, and even though nothing felt like enough at the time, I know now that Jesus was still working behind the scenes through all of it. Things eventually reached a breaking point. One night, my self-harm became so serious that I had to go to the hospital and get stitches in my arm. But then, on Friday, May 8th, everything changed. I went to the assembly, a youth worship night, not really knowing why I was there. At that point, every day felt like I was barely hanging on. Honestly, I didn't even know if I wanted to go. But that night changed me. During worship, I remember singing louder than I ever had before. Then, the pastor talked about how sometimes, if the enemy can't destroy you from the outside, he'll try to make you become your own worst enemy. That hit me hard because I realized that's exactly what I had been doing. I couldn't punish other people, so I punished myself. Then the pastor said that if anyone was struggling with that, they should stand up. And I did. Because for the first time in a long time, I truly wanted to be saved. I didn't want to live trapped in darkness anymore. I didn't want to think about death all the time. I went up for prayer, and in that moment, I realized I didn't want to live like this anymore. I didn't want self-harm to control my life anymore. That night, I stopped living for myself. Afterwards, I told Yada I'm done. I don't want to go back. She has been such an incredible friend to me, and through one act of courage in grade 8, in sharing her story, she helped save someone's life. Mine. That night, I talked with my leader, Deleska, and told her that I wanted to get baptized. She told me that was something she had been praying for. We talked for a while, and honestly, it was the first night in 4 years where I genuinely felt joy again. It felt like the chains holding me back had finally broken. Even my leaders told me they could see the difference in me and they could see the joy in my eyes. From now on, I want to dedicate my life fully to Jesus and share His love with other people who have had the same struggles. I don't want to go back to my old ways. So thank you, Jesus, my parents, Cooper, my whole life group, Sarah, Willa, Nora, Vic, Yada, my leaders, and so many others who walked with me through the darkest moments of my life. I honestly couldn't have done it without all of you. And all of that is why I'm here today, to publicly declare my love for Jesus Christ through baptism.